So today we start with chapter motion. So before the starting of motion, first we see how the object or any things which how to describe it is in motion or rest. So motion and rest both are relative to each other words. In our daily life we observe so many things and objects which are in complete position of rest, and some of the objects which are continuous or at a particular time is in motion. For example, if we look on this board, so this board is on position of rest. Okay, as we see here, as the time increases, but this board is on fixed position. That means we may conclude that here rest means when an object does not change of its position with respect to time, object is said to be rest. While the object change of its position with respect to surrounding or with respect to time, then it is called here motion. So motion and rest are relative to each other. So motion means here okay. So when an object change of its position with respect to time, it is called in motion. So in our daily life we see so many examples for motion, like moving bus on road, moving bus, car on road. Okay. Now we talk about rest. So just opposite, here we use position and time. There are two references. So similarly in rest, when an object does not change of its position with respect to time, then it is called here rest. So in rest we will focus on again position and time. So there is one difference between them. In motion, position continuous changes with respect to time, while in rest position does not change with respect to time. And there are so many examples we see in our daily life. For example, car, chair, table, board, etc. all are in position of rest. Okay. So one more thing which is related to motion and rest. Motion and rest are relative to each other. Related to each other. Here we use one word is here relative. So in order to understand it, we take here example. In suppose on a road a person is standing on road and a bus is a bus along with driver and passenger. So when bus is moving on a road and a person is standing on the road, that means just stand a person on the road and bus is here moving. So when a person is standing on the road, for a person bus is to be moving, okay, and passenger which are sitting on the bus is also in motion. But if we talk about driver, so with respect to driver, all the passengers are sit on the chairs in the bus. So all the passengers are rest with respect to driver. So what we see here in this example, motion and rest both are relative. That means once motion is there, that means rest is also there. So rest and motion are just relative to each. Okay. Next we see here how many types of motion. So next we see here types of motion. So motion can be categorized broadly in three parts. Number one, translatory. Second one is here rotational motion. And third one is here vibratory motion. So broadly classified in three groups: translatory, rotational and vibratory motion. Now we see what happened in case of translatory motion, what happened in case of rotational motion, and third one for vibratory. So first we discuss here translatory motion. Translatory, the meaning of translatory is here straight motion. That means an object is said to be in translatory motion if motion is along the straight line. That means if the motion is along the straight line, then it is called here translatory. Okay, that means whenever motion in terms of straight, or we can say along the road, so this is known as here translatory motion, and in our daily life we experience such kind of motion. For example, walking on plain road, motion of car, or we can say motion of vehicle in straight road. So all are such kind of example. That means whenever motion is in straight line are count in translatory motion. Okay. Next we come to rotational motion. So in rotational motion, rotational means here like a circle. So in rotational motion, if the motion is about a fixed point, if the motion is about the fixed point or in circle form, then it is called here rotational motion. For example, here electrons are revolving around the nucleus. This is one of the example where electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So what we see here in rotational motion, this is the position of nucleus. Nucleus is represented by Ze, and electron, this is the center where nucleus is to be placed, and this is the position of electron. So what we see here, for electron, distance is fixed. Here we use this word fixed point. If the motion is about a fixed point, so here motion of electron is about this nucleus. So here nucleus is treated like a fixed point. So this represent here rotational motion. Similarly, one more example is there, fan. So in fan, blades are continuous in rotational about a fixed point. So this is counted in rotational motion. And last one we see here, vibratory. So in vibratory motion, motion of the object about a fixed point, but the difference is here to and fro motion. This is the difference part here. Motion of the object about a fixed point. So here fixed point is to be there, but about this fixed point, to and fro motion take place. So here we take one more example is there, simple pendulum. So simple pendulum is the best example in order to understand the vibratory motion. In simple pendulum, what we see here, when a bob is connected to a thread and it is to be fixed on a ball, so this bob, this position represent here position of rest, or we can say equilibrium. That means no force act on this bob in this situation. If suppose a force F is to be applied along x-axis, so this bob is to move to and fro motion about this fixed point. So this is called here extreme points. This is the last position of the bob. So A and B, this denote here extreme point. So this is the example in order to understand the vibratory motion. In vibratory motion, object is to be moved to and fro about a fixed point. One more example is there in our daily lives, swinging or swing. So in this situation again we see to and fro motion take place. So motion is to be described in mainly three ways: translatory, rotational and vibratory. Now any kind of motion, when we describe motion, it is to be needed here fixed point, or we can say reference point, in order to explain the motion. Now we come to next one, physical quantity. In our daily life we see some quantities. Whenever we go market, we see some situation where we use the word kilogram, gram, meter, centimeter. During the home we use second, hour. So these all are known as here units. These all are known as here units, and these units is a part of quantity. So physical quantity means here a quantity which can be measured or we can take their weight. Are known as here physical quantity. And physical quantity, it may be mass, it may be length, it may be time, speed, velocity, acceleration, force, pressure, density. So all are known as here physical quantity, because mass again we can measure, length we can measure, time we can measure, speed we can measure, velocity we can measure. So all are counted in physical quantity. Now these physical quantity again we can separate. So how to separate? In order to separate it, any physical quantity can be again divided in two parts. One is here scalar quantity and another one is here vector quantity. So any physical quantity I am writing already here: mass, length, time, speed, velocity, acceleration, force, pressure, density, all are here physical quantity. So these physical quantity further categorized in scalar and vector quantity. Now we see here how to choose which quantity is here scalar, which quantity is to be here vector. So scalar quantities are those quantities which having only magnitude. So scalar quantity have only magnitude. Magnitude means here particular or numerical value. For example, here mass 5 kilogram, 10 gram. Suppose length 10 meter, 20 centimeter, time 20 second, 10 seconds. So it has some magnitude, that is fixed value. So scalar quantities are those quantity which having only magnitude. Now we come to vector quantities. Vector quantities are those quantities which having magnitude as well as direction. Please keep in mind, magnitude as well as direction. That means when we assign the direction, this is count in vector. So now we separate here example. So only magnitude represent here mass, length, time, speed and force, velocity and acceleration are example of vector. So today we start the physical quantity, distance and displacement. First we see what is the basic difference between distance and displacement. Okay. So first we come to here distance. distance in our daily life we use more oftenly this word distance. Today we cover 8-meter distance, 10-meter distance from our home or our school, from our school, and so on. So distance means the actual path traveled by the object is known as here distance. Okay. So how to define it? The actual path traveled by an object between initial and final is called distance. Now actual path, what is the meaning of here actual path? So in order to understand it, we take one example here. If suppose a bus is moving from point O at 9 am. After time travel, suppose say 30 minutes, it reaches to point A at 9:30 am and it covers 20 kilometer distance. Then again this bus move and finally reaches to point B at suppose 11 am and it travel a distance 40 kilometer. So if we find out the distance, how much distance covered by the bus, say distance from O to B. So what we see here, O to A, O is here initial or we can say reference point and B is treated here final point. So between initial and final, a bus is traveling along a straight line path. It may be possible, it may be curved path. Okay. So but in this example here we take straight path. So distance from O to B is here. First O to A. O to B is equals to here OA plus A to B. So this is here 20 kilometer plus 40 kilometer. So distance is here 60 kilometer. And in previous class we already discussed physical quantities are maybe scalar or vector. Scalar have only magnitude while vector have magnitude as well as direction. So in case of distance, in this example here we not consider distance, so direction. So because of no direction, this quantity is here scalar quantity. Okay. So this is the concept behind the distance. Next we come to here displacement. Now displacement means here the shortest path between initial and final point with direction is known as here displacement. That means if we compare distance and displacement, so both have magnitude, but in case of displacement we assign direction. Bus or any object moving in either east direction or say west direction, north direction, and so the shortest path between initial and final point with direction is called displacement. So now how to measure the shortest path? So again we take one example to understand the concept of displacement. Suppose first we assign the direction. We always take this part east, west, north and south. So whenever we simplify the numerical, please retain this. Where is the direction? East, west, north and south. So now we take one example. Suppose a bus first moving 3 km from O to A in east direction, then from A to B it travels 4 km. So in this situation, if we calculate how much displacement take place, so what we see here, a bus or any object moving first O to A, then A to B. So this denote here actual path. This is the actual path traveled by the object. But if we talk about displacement, so in displacement we require shortest one path and along with direction. So here O is treated initial point and B is treated here final point. So between initial and final, what is the shortest one? If we draw the line from O to B, so this is the shortest path between O to B. So this denote here shortest one. Okay. So now question is that how to calculate it. So if we apply here Pythagoras theorem, so hypotenuse, in order to calculate hypotenuse, base square plus square of perpendicular. So what we see here, 3 square plus 4 square, that is 9 plus 16, this equals to under root of 25 and it gives here only 5. So in this situation 5 km is the displacement. So this is one of the difference between distance and displacement. In distance means actual path covered by the object, and in displacement it is here shortest path. Now one more thing I mentioned here, displacement may be positive, may be negative or may be zero. So it depends on the situation, and as per the situation displacement is positive, negative or zero, and it may be sometimes equal to or greater the distance. So please remember this thing. Now we see what is the basic difference between distance and displacement. So if we compare distance and displacement, so number one is there, distance is here actual path covered by object between initial and final point. If we come to displacement, so this is the shortest path covered by the object between initial and final. Number 2 is there, as per the category of physical quantity, scalar and vector. If we talk about distance, so there is no requirement of direction. So distance is scalar. So it is scalar quantity and we talk about displacement, so direction is must. So it is vector quantity. Number 3 is there, in distance. Distance is always positive. Okay, that means distance is never negative, never zero. So, but if we talk about displacement, it may be negative, zero, positive, or sometimes greater or equal to distance. So this is the 3 basic difference between distance and displacement. Now I point out number 3, it may be negative, 0 or positive, and sometimes it is greater or equal to distance. So now we see here one situation where displacement is 0, because positive we have already discussed in previous one example. So if we see, if suppose an object is moving on a circular road or a circle, and suppose object start from point here O, and again after moving O, A, B, C, and again reaches to point O. So O point is here treated initial and final, because object start at point O and finally it reaches to point O. So because of initial and final point is to be same, so net displacement is here 0. So this shows here 0 displacement. One more example I have taken. If suppose an object start from point O, then come to A point, and finally after traveling 40 km it reaches to B point. Then again, if suppose it return back from B to O, so in this situation what we see, from O to B, 20 plus 40, this is here 60 km towards X direction. But because of return back, so from B to O, again 40 plus 20, this is 60 km, but now just opposite direction, that is X dash direction. So 60 minus 60, it becomes 0. So this shows here displacement may be positive, negative or 0. Okay. Next we come to uniform and non-uniform motion. So before take uniform and non-uniform motion, at last we may conclude that what is the unit part of the distance and displacement. So at last we see here what is the unit of distance and displacement. So distance and displacement. So distance and displacement both denotes in kilometer or meter because it is length. So if we talk about MKS system means here meter, kilogram and second. This is one of the system. Another one system is here CGS, that is centimeter, gram and second. So either we have to adopt MKS system or CGS system. Okay, whenever we solve the numerical or write some specific data. So if we talk about MKS, that means we must either follow meter, kilogram or second. So because of distance is length, so right here meter. Similarly displacement is also length, so it is meter. If we take CG system, then centimeter, gram and second. So centimeter is the unit of distance and for displacement again it is centimeter, and some traditional unit is here kilometer. So either MKS or CGS. First denotes here mass, second denotes here, first denotes here length, second denotes here mass and third one denotes here time. So as per the requirement of the physical quantity we choose the unit. So either we have to take MKS system or we have to write CG system, and kilometer is the traditional unit of the distance or displacement. Thank you.